Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors coming at you on a Martin Luther King Day weekend with my co-host Princess Olympia.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
That's a lot of energy there.
It's been a long weekend, but it's like one of those things where it's like I had stuff I wanted to do. I didn't get to do everything, but I did most of it. So now I'm like tired. I feel like my dogs who went to the park today and like now all they want to do is sleep because they got the zoomies out of them, and it's like now I'm like it's like, oh, I have work tomorrow, but I still have to do some things.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I
open a
kind of
stack, open a stack of comic books that are sitting on my table.
yeah, actually this weekend I actually hammered through two
Oh,
and
nice. We gotta talk about them then. We
I
gotta talk
actually
about them.
you probably got one of them, the Princess versus Zombies.
Yeah, I did. That's the one that I haven't opened yet, and I think I have another one.
And then I got the Stealing Solo. I went through Stealing Solo, which was the World Class Bullshitters comic that was what was that 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Um, so I do need to do reviews because there was another one called Icarus and the Sun, but when I get time, because it's just whether it's personal or work related, it's it is a
I
very
think we
crazy.
bring like one or two to the table next time if there's something major. I mean, there was a lot of news out, but I want to devote it to our thoughts on a couple things. So yeah, I mean, I I definitely want to that, and if we can get serious on this show, he could talk about Final Fantasy. He's been playing it. It'll be in my background if you can't hear it, but he's been playing it like crazy. But
Right.
yeah, I definitely want to talk about comic books because I have a pile here like that I want to go through and I have not had a chance to. So yeah.
Gotcha. Anyway, let's go into the big topic today because I think a lot of folks have finally had some time to digest the WandaVision show episodes 1 and 2. Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have to do two because I was so used to with Mandalorian one episode a week, but
Yeah.
they hit you with two. And you know what? It's dawned on me this is the return of the MCU. Like
Yes, it is. It's a big deal.
and how about I let you start it?
Okay, well, for me, I watched it day one, and it was definitely a different show with dark tones underneath of it. Um, because you have two people, and we'll be talking spoilers, guys. So please, if you've watched it, stay tuned. And then if you haven't and don't want to hear spoilers, then check out this episode after you watch it. But for me, I think the quality of the show was great. It's like on the MCU level of a show. I actually thought that the acting was great. The cinematics were great. I didn't see a jeans guy in the background, but I wasn't looking hard enough. Um, but I thought just the caliber and the quality made me feel the MCU vibe again. I will say, like, even to the end where there's a after credits scene, if you didn't see it, like it's not that important, but there are after credits scenes. But just the level of detail that they put into the show. To lead with this show, and a lot of critics, I will say, have had positive reviews of the show. It's an interesting concept because they did it in a sort of sitcom, sort of. It's almost like Bewitched, and if you don't know what Bewitched is, you should definitely Google it. But it's definitely an old show where, like, an ode to shows like Bewitched and shows that were in the past that were like, the housewife and the guy. It was a comedy, like I Love Lucy, or like basically it was comedy, but it was slice of life. So in this, I can't really pinpoint the time that the sixth place. I want to say it's like around the Mad Men-ish era, if you will. What is that, the 50s or 60s? Um, and basically, Scarlet Witch and Vision, arrive at their new home, and it's like literally got a bewitched feel. Like she's a witch, he's a machine. and they're living in suburbia and like going through the motions of a couple living in suburbia, a young couple living in suburbia. But the undertones of it is what's interesting because you get a sense underneath it all that something is actually happening in the background or something is lurking that is kind of I don't know, it's kind of underneath all this picturesque ideal like sitcom life of theirs. They even go so far as to put commercials in within the show that are like they had a Strucker watch, I think, and they had a Stark Industry toaster. So like just this like level of detail that they put like within the sitcom they put a commercial in like the way it was in the past. Um was interesting. But yeah, so like it's what is interesting about the story, so from the storyline perspective, is that they both know who they are. Vision knows he's a machine. Wanda knows she's a witch, or like not a witch, but she can control things. So that's all they know though. Like they know about Sokovia that she's from Sokovia. Um they don't really mention anything about the past. They don't really mention anything like about the Avengers or anything they've been through. So it's almost like this is a dream state for both of them. He still has the Mind Stone in his head. So again, it's kind of unclear and ambiguous to an extent where this takes place in terms of the timeline of the MCU and their lives in the MCU, as well as what's going on. What you do get a hint of at the end of episode one, if you watch the after credits, is that somebody is watching their TV show. Somebody is watching them. And I started wondering, are they hooked up to machines and somebody is like literally put them in a dream state and these are their thoughts? Because there was one creepy scene in the first one, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it, where like the guy, his boss, was having dinner at their house and he was choking and they were laughing at him. And it took her a while, Wanda, to say, "Help him, Vision." Like it was so strange. They were just staring at the man choking to death. And that's when it got dark for me real fast. I was just like, whoa, what is going on? And then the other thing is the cast of characters. So there's Agatha, and if you aren't familiar with the comic books, um, Agatha is actually a witch who, in the Scarlet Witch comic, Scarlet Witch, she's a ghost by then because I think she gets killed. I think it's by Scarlet Witch, but I'd have to fact check. But Agatha is a ghost of a witch that trains her in the art of witchcraft because at some point she actually truly wants to learn witchcraft. So it's interesting that Catherine Catherine Hahn is Agatha, and she pops up at random points of time within the show, which is interesting to me because I wonder, and a lot of people have alluded to the fact that she could be the bad guy. But I don't know because the other piece of, things to consider is Sword. So Sword is actually an organization, I believe, that is around like extraterrestrial and something else. I forget what it is. Basically, Sword is the component of Shield, but the outer space component. Okay. So if you recall Shield, and the Shield got disbanded, but Sword is the other component of Shield. So if you think FBI, CIA, that's what Sword is. There were a lot of allusions to this organization, Sword. One, she found, it's all in black and white. She found a helicopter with a sword emblem on it in color. It was a red one. And then there was a guy who came out of the sewer pothole, and he had a sword bee costume or whatever, the beehive man or whatever people are calling him on the internet. So again, just like throwing you in for loops and different things that you're just like, what's going on? Um, I'll fast track really quick for my like thoughts on the second episode and then hand it to you, fan. Is like I really enjoyed the second episode for the magic show that they did because it was like a magic show that debunked magic because Vision actually he's not allowed to eat food because it ruins like his internal structure and he accidentally ate a piece of gum and it basically like threw him over for like whatever. He couldn't do it like he wasn't his normal Vision self, let's put it that way. But I actually enjoyed that comedy routine and I thought it was a really nice showcase of the two actors' talents. I just thought it was different and funny. What's interesting is that the girl there, Monica Rambeau plays a girl who it's been confirmed that is the girl from Captain America who's all grown up. So I don't know what that means, but they think that she could be someone working for Sword that's in this world that they live in. So that is all I will leave it at. Interesting show, but where it's going, I'm not sure yet. On to you, fan.
I'm not gonna lie, I struggled watching it. Um, I if it if episode one began with something of where reality is versus this alternate 1950s type of reality that Wanda and Vision were in, like just to tell me there's something here, because clearly from the trailers you knew something was wrong anyway with the way the whole thing was set up.
Mm-hmm.
But it was such a struggle. I mean, I've seen Bewitched, the I Love Lucy skits and all that stuff. So to me, you know, it's fine. I found it fascinating that the internet was abuzz saying this was very sexist. When, quite frankly, this was, you know, back in the day, that's how people were.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I found it funny because, you know, they're all wearing the dresses and the skirts, and it didn't dawn on me, but when Wanda
Yeah.
was wearing the pants, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's wearing something a little more modern. It was very out of place. Not saying anything about skirts and pants. I'm just saying like it just looked like she was in today versus the way the other characters were dressed up in this little town.
Yep.
But I mean, some little skits here and there just made me chuckle, which was nice. I I just found it so hard to watch that I'm going to be honest. There were some times I was just doing other things, and some of the things I had to go back because I thought I missed it. But yeah, the whole reference is the sword, someone watching their show, the idea that Wanda just basically reversed the show, the episodes with the whole baby reveal, and he reversed
Yeah.
it because the B guy came out. Um, you know, that was like that was what I was looking for, but yet, and I kept looking for these moments, and I think episode two did it better, where there was like throughout the story, it wasn't just the 1950 type of chuckle; it was the little bits of sprinkles of this is what's wrong. It was a not it was not Agatha, the dot
Monica
Dorothy,
Rambo.
the head lady of the community.
Oh, her. Yes. Dottie.
Dottie, like she just like held her hands, like, do you know how to get blood out of a white dress or something? Like it was just this dark tone here, and then it just switches. That was fine, and then the for the children piece reminded me of what was that? What was one of my? It was a Hot Fuzz, the movie Hot Fuzz, where they're like for the good, for the greater good, or something like that, where they chant that.
Yeah.
But I I mean, I'm gonna try to stick with it for the sake of this show, but I'm not gonna lie. Right now, I'm struggling, and if this is the return to the MCU, if they're lucky, this is Wanda and Vision. Because I just if it was any other character, I wouldn't care. But
Yeah.
I will stick it out, and there are little moments. I just think it's got to speed up.
Yeah. I like your perspective because it's interesting because you're probably representing a good mass of people who aren't familiar with like the source material. So that's probably another piece of it. This actually draws a lot from Vision, the comic book. where he lives with a family of other visions, basically, if you will. And one day he goes to work and his wife actually murders his boss or something like that, or somebody, and has to bury him in underneath their house. So that's why there was some allusion to it. Like I think there was like when he was like phasing through the closet or the floors, there were things underneath that if you slow down, you would see it. Like I actually had to backtrack to see that there was a helmet underneath that was buried in bones or something like that. But yeah, anyway, um, that's interesting, and I like your assessment of it because it's not what you think. It's not what you thought they would lead with because it's slow. It is a slow burn. I agree with you.
I don't even
It
know if it's
is a slow
burning
burn.
yet. It's like trying to kindle.
You're like it's not burning yet.
Um, maybe I'm being critical,
No,
but
you should be. I like it. It's
no, I
interesting.
mean, it's not me doing a Last Jedi type of rant. I mean, there is a potential to it. I think it's got to speed up
Like
and
where is it going, basically? Right?
okay. I mean, like the funny thing was, I think what killed me was that all of the 1950 type of skits, I was actually calling it out in my head about like some of the little quotes they would say, some of the like for example in episode 1 where they were talking about what is this day? What does the heart mean? And like there was just I was just expecting, oh, she's probably thinking it's their anniversary. It's probably a work dinner because that's the work dinner thing is what they said on the tagline anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I bet you that's what the whole crux of this thing is. So then I called it and I was like, okay, it's coming as I thought it would be. What else? The episode 2 with the whole magic show. I there was that was a little bit more of a change up, but I'd say it was par for the course in terms of the 1950s skip part of it, where the town watch was actually doing nothing.
Oh, I know the men. They were just meeting to be men in
Yeah,
the library.
that's what we do. Um, no, but like, and then I was, and then, but it's funny because Agatha does stand out,
Yeah.
but it's only because part of it is the whole lead up to the articles are like Agatha is probably going to be that the witch you said. It's like you know what I mean. So it's like oh, so she's special, and then we already knew about Monica Rambeau. So I'm like, oh, that lady's Monica Rambeau. She called herself not Giselle or something, but like, no, this is Monica Rambeau. I'm not going to be fooled by this. So, so I'm just, it's a slow Kindle. It's not a burn. It's a Kindle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe I'm very shallow, but I needed to step up a little bit with the hustle.
Yeah.
But
Well, it is 8 episodes, I think, 8 or 9. So we'll see how fast it goes. Because I agree with you. I'm more curious to step it up because like so okay, then now she's pregnant all of a sudden, which again we know she was she became pregnant in her mind and she created the twins that she and Vision had in her mind. So they were manifestations of her creating them in her mind. Like they weren't real people, like per se. Um, but so that'll be interesting to explain. But because they both know that's the interesting part about all of us. They both know who they are in the sense of they know what they can do. They know one is a machine. She knows she is, someone who can control like these things with her powers, but yet they don't know much about anything else, right? Um, but yeah, I'm more interested in like they actually go through the years and like if you have like kind of kept up with this like the lead up to this like they had like images of it and just like different like it like looks like they move into the 70s pretty quick or the 60s or something like the era of maybe the Brady Bunch because like their clothing changes, they hit Technicolor, like so that'll be interesting to see how that transitions and why that transitions because I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure where it's all going. Who's the who's the guy at the end controlling the strings and why? So
And
I
who's
guess
Beehive Guy? Like, what's so significant about Candyman?
the bee.
The Beehive Guy. Like, what's the point of him?
I don't know. I honestly, there was an article that popped up a while back that I didn't read, but there were saying the significance of the beehive. I'm not sure. I just thought it was because he had the sword like emblem on his back, but he could be somebody. I don't know. The helmet was of a guy called oh my god. There was a helmet in the show when he's in cartoon and phasing through the different levels. Um, there was a helmet and it belonged to somebody. Oh my gosh, he has like a macabre sort of name and I can't remember what his name was. But the helmet was his, and I don't know if he's the bad guy at the end of the day, but again, I'm not sure. Like I'm just not sure where it's leading up to. So
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, what, Friday's the next drop? I'm assuming it's WandaVision 3. It's not going to be 3 and 4.
yeah, I think they had to honestly, I think they did the right thing by doing one and two because I
One
think if
was
you
so
just
bad.
watched yeah, I think if you just watched one, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like what is going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like I think you had to watch two. Two was like you said, I agree with you, much better episode, but like I feel like you had to watch both of them
Even
because
the one. I'm going to be honest, you could have used like a vignette to just summarize one and then went into two. And then
yeah,
that's one. You kind of wasted an episode to set up something that you know is not real. And it really didn't set up anything. It's like, okay, that's great that they don't know why they're here. They don't know why they're married. But I'm pretty sure we all knew that because, quite frankly, we knew them as the Avengers.
yeah,
So if you're trying to say it's for newbies, I get it, but newbies would probably watch the Avengers anyway.
anyway, yeah. They actually have that Marvel Legends that gives you a background spotlight on the two of them. So
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it because I'm.
it's not, it's just basically snippets from all of the Avenger movies that they're in. So basically, it talks about, it literally shows because her appearance like was with the Struckers, like, and then it goes from there to the next appearance, like in the battle in Sokovia, and then the next one when they were in, when they blew up the place in, oh my God, where was that? Civil War. And then the next one was when, like, so it's like snippets of the films and where, like, her, like, how she evolved in the films. That's literally what it is. So it's nothing new. It's not new material, but I feel like it's like to remind you who these people are. I don't know that they expect you to watch them before this show, but it's there as like reference material, if you will.
Mm.
Yeah.
I my only hope, because some article had said that this is possibly a little bit of House of M, that this is
Oh.
sort of the way you get to the MCU. I will say what I find fascinating is the MCU and the X-Men is such a well-guarded secret. I mean, there's a lot of rumors,
Uh-huh.
but no one knows how they're going to come in. I think the biggest problem for them is who's going to play Wolverine. um, and then, yeah, I mean, I guarantee you, Jean Grey's not going to look like the Jean Grey you knew. I just, I
You have
don't
to get
know.
Wolverine right. I
Well, they'll
agree
get
with you.
Wolverine right, but Jean's not gonna be a redhead. Given the way Hollywood trend has been, she's definitely not gonna be a redhead.
Wolverine could be a female.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's
X-22.
X-23,
3.
23.
Yeah.
And yeah, the I'm jumping ahead because again, it's the whole tie with Wanda and mutants, where she's a mutant, she's not a mutant. we don't know, but we can say she's a mutant if she wants to be a mutant because they have some strange things. Like, didn't they retcon her to not be?
Yes, they did. She's actually, I was talking about this with Sirius, and I don't know if it still remains retconned, but her and Quicksilver actually were retconned to be Inhuman.
Yeah, and now that they bought Fox and the X-Men, I wonder if they'll undo their own retcon. Marvel's done a lot of crazy stuff,
Yes, they have.
comic books, just
They
try
might
to.
retcon Steve being alive in the MCU because everybody keeps saying Chris Evans is in talks to come back since he has no work, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the problem is he has no work.
Even though he himself is claiming that's news to him, I highly doubt it because I think he needs more work. But that
Also,
and then Star Lord, of course, is the biggest retcon right now that most recently happened.
yeah, which is kind of funny. I think it's a shot at Chris Evans, not Chris Evans, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
And then also we've heard rumors that Ryan Reynolds was butting heads, and now he's happy because they've now officially said that's rated R.
Yes, Deadpool. Yep. Yep.
I don't know how that's going to work. In fact, I would actually say Deadpool 3 is the best way to make them introduced in the MCU because he's the only one who's going to tell you the truth that Fox
That
is
is
acquired
true.
by Disney.
Oh my God, that's actually the best way to do it because in there they have an X mansion and they had Colossus in the last one and Supernova, I forgot her name, Super Megasonic War, whatever,
Warhead or something like that.
Warhead, and like they were living in the X mansion. So like, yeah, if there's anyone who's the best person to tell it like it is, it's him.
No, because I think doesn't he like say something about the mouse?
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
Like he does, and it's the only way that's meta enough to say, yeah, we were the X-Men universe. We now were acquired by the mouse, so we're in, right? It's these corny things. It's the only way, in my opinion, to make it like because to say, oh, we went through a decade of the Avengers and no one knew that there were mutants, thousands and thousands of mutants out there. But we only knew about the event. Like, you can't just do that. That's why I'm saying the only way that would logically make sense would be um, just to have Deadpool just say what it truly was. Disney bought them.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, oh, now we're allowed to call them.
No,
That would be great if you could just pop in and just say that.
which is funny though, because like Ed was it Josh Brolin was saying that uh, it was more of a passion or a calling to be Thanos, but it was just business to be Cable. So I
Yeah,
wonder I wonder if he's gonna reprise the role as Cable.
yeah.
I mean that's a tough role in general. So don't know how they do it.
I'm like, I'm just like you said, it is the biggest kept secret, but and they haven't even unveiled any phases because of this whole situation and looks like they're double downing like we said on the streaming. I don't know how they're gonna make it onto the screen. Is it gonna be theatrical or is it gonna be over a series? I don't know. So yeah, I agree with you.
And then Captain
Biggest kept
Marvel
secret.
2 is starting to film because Brie
Yep.
Larson has said she's getting training. I'm sure everyone's excited for that. It's Marvel's coming, so I'm sure everyone's excited for that. It's going to be one of the top streamed shows, and well, do I have to watch that?
No, you don't. Why don't we pick a few? You can watch the Kate Bishop Hawkeye and I'll watch that.
Actually, that might end up being better than I thought. The Kate Bishop Hawkeye.
Yeah, that one looks good. I have good things for that. I mean, as long as it's hey, that was the DLC they that they were pushing.
And quite frankly, didn't help it. So, with that said, if you like our content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. We are on Twitter at JusticeSith, which is our Twitter handle. And look out for more reviews and thoughts on news, entertainment, and comic books and video games whenever the crosses our fancy. With that said, hope to see you all on the Sith side.
Bye.